a lot of fun to paddle, but can be maddening too, because you get offline just a little bit and there's no opportunity to kind of rest or get back online again.
Well, this is the lineup. There were 20 at the start of the week. They're down to 10. Jessica Fox, who won the World Championships in Prague last year by 13 seconds, had a few challenges. We wouldn't bet against her doing well today.
Yeah, I think Jess is definitely the most experienced and probably the fastest C1 woman out there. But the competition is getting tougher over the year because many other girls are improving. And it should be exciting to watch the C1 Women Final.
It really has been great to see the development of the C1 women's class come so quickly as more countries adopt it as a full-time opportunity. They're really getting better quickly.
Well, as it's going into the Olympic program, it makes sense to invest a bit, doesn't it?
Definitely does.
Well, the first World Championships were in 1949 in Geneva, of all places, in Switzerland, and we have a Swiss competitor going first today. It's 20-year-old Anna Wilder. She actually came 7th in the European Championships. In the World, she came 31st last year. She made the final in Taschen, where she came 8th, and her world ranking at the moment is 27th. There's David Florence with his coach Mark Delaney in the background discussing tactics of a bit later. Here you go, Anna, see what you can do.
Anna has a good technique, but she's a really small and not so physically strong paddler. So it's really hard for her when she does a mistake to kind of hold things together, and let's see if she can manage to have a clean run without any mistakes, so she doesn't have to use the strength she's lacking. And I think she's looking good so far. She's a really technical paddler.
Time to aim for, I suppose, as a reference, the fastest time in the semi-finals was 1:22.44 by Mallory Franklin. And out of the 10 girls who made it to the final, only 2 went clear. That was HOSKOVA and GIBSON. So it's proving a difficult one, and we first athlete not going clear.
She's just picked up a penalty, but quite managed to go well in this hard move, the crossing into the right upstream. She was probably higher than a few of the K1 men.
We definitely saw some of the K1 men struggling with that cross in the whitewater. Perhaps her boat speed helping her move across the river nicely, picking up a few more penalties than I think she'd like.
It's exactly the same course, exactly the same conditions for the men who went a few minutes ago in the K1 and the men who are going to go in a few minutes for the C1 as well.
Certainly tricky when you have a developing class to run them on the same complexity, of course, as everyone else, but you know, they've really shown the C1 women's class that, especially Jess Fox, when you compare her 2 runs, her K1 run to her C1 run, she's paddling beautifully in both classes.
Well, the last upstream gauge of the day, number 19, but it's not all over. The bottom gate 21 was proving tricky for quite a lot of athletes, especially in the semi-finals. Whoops. Bit of a touch there.
I think we'll see a lot of runs go sideways in that 18 to the finish line section. Athletes are getting tired down here, and it's a tough set.
Here we go. Did make the final. As a point of reference, by definition, goes into first place with 147 seconds. Time of reference is 1:22, so there's a bit of margin there for improvement.
I think we'll see the better boats going quite a bit faster.
Yeah, the next one is Caroline LOIR. She just got European champion last weekend with a really good run, just in front of the Austrian Julia Schmidt, who was the local in Vienna. So she could probably throw a good run. We can see that she's switching side. They're not all doing that. Some of them switch, some of them are rather doing crossbows. So it's just a choice of technique that they want to use.
And we see obviously a lot more of the women switching than the men, I suppose. Chupesi does, but most of the men don't switch.
Yeah, most of the men don't switch. We saw Cipresi switching and Fabien Lefebvre. and I can assume it's because they both come from the K1 men class.
So far, 26-year-old Caroline LOIR is well up on the clock.
She should be one of the athletes that challenges for the podium today for sure, so I don't think this one penalty will really hurt her too much.
Well, in Europe, she seems to be pretty much top of the pile. She won the Europeans a week ago. Oops.
Oh.
Chips over.
Just rolled here.
Watching her do that switch of the paddle at the exact wrong moment when she hit the eddy line, not able to brace herself, so she ended up capsizing but rolled quickly.
Just shows how tough the conditions are out today.
Yeah, we saw that this bottom part of the course was already hard for the K1 men, and it's the exact same thing for the girls. You get there and you're very tired, and it's hard to hold it on.
And they only have the one blade as well, which makes it even more difficult.
And she's not happy. I will try to avoid her for the rest of the afternoon, and hopefully she'll be better for dinner tonight. And the next paddler is a very young Scottish paddler, EILIDH GIBSON. No one was really expecting her at GB team trails, or at least we were not. And she's young and went really fast, because I think that she was qualified after the first two races, so even before the end of the team trials she made the team.
Well, amazing start to her career. Just 18 years old, was 5th in the Vienna European Championships. What else has she done? The only other international experience she had was in 2013, the Bratislava World Cup, where the Brits put in a really young team. She came 11th there.
Yeah, the British team has a really strong C1 women team. We have Mallory Franklin, who was in the lead for the semi-final, and EILIDH GIBSON, who's here, Jazz Rolls, not to forget Kim Woods, who won Cardiff World Cup with a really brilliant run last year.
We should point out her 8 to 9 move was probably one of the better ones we've seen today, even in the final of the men's kayak we just saw, using the whitewater masterfully to carve her boat right across into the upstream. She
got slightly stuck in the hole there, but making her way across, and just one touch so far.
Well, it's going to be really close so far. The split just 0.19 second down.
But we saw that Caroline had a really bad bottom section with a roll and another really big mistake. So
this is a mistake as well, getting pushed low in the upstream, watching the clock tick away as she paddles up to the gate.
But there's still plenty of time here.
Seems like she's holding her run together. Just picked up another penalty.
Time of reference, however, is 1:41, so she's going to be inside that. And is 8.81 seconds up. 1:32, still 10 seconds slower than the semi-final winning time. You're a bit of a child prodigy, Nuria, with someone who's so young. Is it nerve-wracking or exciting to do this sort of thing?
I would say both at the same time.
Thank you. ALISON is the one of 3 really top Australian paddlers. Not the dream start.
No, not a dream start, but she trains with Jess Fox and Rose Lawrence, so they all have like good C1 women, a little bit like the GB team. The Australian C1 women team is really strong, and they usually have like more than one boat in the finals.
It's that day-to-day competitive environment that really develops a group of people, and they have that in spades in Australia. Every day they're training, they have that opportunity to compare themselves against the world's best, because one of them invariably is going to be paddling well.
Unfortunately, she just picked up another penalty.
kind of looks like this course is just not fitting her style. She's kind of reaching for gates and coming in late and missing the moves. So something has her a bit unsettled right now.
One of 11 Australian athletes who've made the trip over to Europe. Ian Burrows, her older brother's also here competing in the C1. Well, 4 penalty points so far.
But we saw that all the other girls had pretty big mistakes in the bottom, so maybe she can still make up some time there.
Picking up another penalty on the upstream, so she's going to really have to nail this bottom section.
13 seconds down at this point.
It's kind of what I was talking about with the complexity of the whitewater. Once you get a little bit offline or have a little bit of a problem, the troubles just compound themselves. It's really difficult to kind of get your boat back on race line.
Well, so far the bronze medal time is 1:47. So not going to pick up the gold. 12.43 seconds back.
I don't think she's going to be happy with that run on any level. Our next competitor, Jess Fox, though, I think will give us a window into what the gold medal time might look like.
Well, still only 19 years old, but has an impressive collection of gold medals. One from the World Championships last year in Prague, where she came first by 13 seconds. She recently, at the World Under-23s, won the C1 and the K1. Bit of a pin-up girl, and for very good reason. She always performs at a high level. Doesn't feel pressure, I guess.
She has great skills in both K1 and C1, and she's definitely someone that I think inspires me for sure, and goes fast. And she's a little bit low in that upstream, but we know that she can go like fast. Prague last year she won with 13 seconds of ahead of everyone, and
it'll be interesting to see how she responds to a mistake like that, because as you say, she has the ability to really move the boat quickly. It's whether she'll deviate from her race plan and take some risk now, knowing she's made a big mistake, or stick to what she was doing earlier.
But it seems to me that she's just holding her run together and sticking to the plan right now.
Well, she's only 1.15 seconds up, so it's really, really close here. But she's known to finish in style in most races.
She was definitely higher in the right upstream right here. Got a little bit slow down in the hole, but managed to pull it out. Oh no!
She didn't come out far enough from that upstream, so she ends up missing that gate, having to loop around to try and make sure she doesn't incur that 50-second penalty.
Well, that does make it interesting.
I have to say, it's a little bit of a surprise.
Well, this comes over the line. 2.7 seconds off the pace. That huge surprise.
Yeah, she lost a huge amount of time just there, because it's really hard to go back up there.
Well, the action does continue. Monika JANCOVA from the Czech Republic is going to be the 6th of 10 athletes to go. Mike Dawson, you've been frantically picking your brain for something today for the last 3 or 4 minutes. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I have. It's pretty amazing to watch these women C1 out there on the London course. Obviously, they weren't in the Olympic program a couple years ago, and they've just been included in the program for Tokyo in a couple years in 2020. and you've seen a massive improvement in the depth of the field, and a couple of these girls are starting to get really good lines, like MONIKA has just done there, heading into gate 10. That's probably the smoothest we've seen in the women's C1 final, so she's on track for a good result.
Best result last year, she came third in the Touching World Cup. In the Europeans recently she came fourth, and in the Worlds wasn't up to a normal standard, she only came 17th, 22 years old. Yeah, she's a young paddler. I think she's training on the course in Troja in Prague, so with a very good training group, very competitive environment there, good boathouse, good crew, and a very good course.
What we're seeing with some of these younger paddlers now is they're specializing in C1 much earlier. Jess Fox racing in 2 classes like some of the others. It's interesting to see maybe how far they can take the sport with these women that are choosing to specialize just in C1.
But it's going to be close because she's down at the split. We have an 18-year-old in the lead for Great Britain.
Yeah, getting a little bit stuck up there on the cross. In my run down there, I found it quite difficult to find the exact right position when to turn down for the gate 18 upstream. And you see that these women's C1 can lose a lot of time, only having half a paddle. And another touch there is going to probably cost her a little bit, but she seems to be up on the time. She has a strong push to the finish. She might
be very close.
It's going to be tight, right down to the wire. Just outside. 1:32.24. I think the fastest time in the semi-final was 1:22. So there's definitely time to be made up out there.
Well, provisionally looks like she moves into second place.
It is difficult. The course is really physical, and if you're not on top of the water, it just gets away. And as you can see, a few of these girls are having that happen to them.
First of 2 Chinese competitors, TENG.
Yeah, she's training in Guangdong province in Huyan on a course near Guangzhou. Very good course, very similar to Augsburg, quite big water, and they have a very big crew there. They all live on site. And
she's up so far.
Yeah, well, she is. She's very fast, 2 seconds up, so she's got time to play with as she moves into the crux move.
She made the finals in the World Championships, coming in 10th position last year in Prague, so she has experience at this level.
Making a mistake there, ending up low in that upstream, but showing some of the power she's developing, training hard with the Chinese crew.
Yeah, they have a lot of courses in China, so they have the ability to paddle on 8 different courses, all within a few hours drive of each other, and a lot of coaching and a lot of support for sport there. She's doing really well, very smooth through this middle section. This is a place where a lot of the other girls have lost time, and she's making it look easy. I think we'll see she'll be a little bit down on the split on the bottom part of the course, but the other girls did have problems and did have penalties, and so far she's stayed off the poles. So if she has a strong finish, she could come away with the medal, top 3 finish.
Well, as you saw, 6 seconds off at the split, but there was time to be made up. Last up gate.
Yeah, unique characteristic of the combinations that they've set for the semis and finals is that quite a lot of the time is in the bottom third of the course. Very hard moves, so you've been paddling for 80 seconds. You see these girls at 80 seconds when they get down there, so it's quite hard for them to pin those last 2 upstreams.
Gonna be close, last few meters.
She's going to slot into 4th or 2nd place. And if you turn your eyes back to the top, we're going to have KATERINA HOSKOVA, another Czech athlete, very experienced in women's C1. She made the switch a few years ago. She trains in Prague and just spent the winter, the European winter, out in New Zealand, training very hard and coaching a lot of the young athletes there.
29 years old, was the world champion back in 2011, and recently in the European she took the bronze medal.
Yeah, no, I was talking to her after the European. She was really happy with her performance there to take home a medal. Exciting stuff. Czech Republic on the whole did really well there, picking up a lot of medals. And she's had a great top, actually, looking very smooth on the water. She's quite short and quite tough, so she's making use of that.
And 2.46 seconds up at the split. Also helps out an awful lot in the organisation of the Czech course.
Yeah, she's heavily involved with the Czech Canoe Union, or the Czech Canoe Club there, the US Car Club on Troja, at Troja. So very involved with coaching the young athletes and also with the organisation committee for the World Cup in a couple of weeks. She's having a good middle section, keeping that boat moving. If you just look at the boat speed that she's having, very smooth paddler. Oops. That might give the judges something to think about, but it's come up as a 2-second penalty, so very lucky there.
Without having made many mistakes to this point, she's probably heading into the lower part of the course with a little more energy than some of the other paddlers had, which could serve her well with the
4 seconds off at the split. Still in the fight for a medal. Bronze medal time at the moment, 1:34.94.
And she's having a little bit of trouble down on the bottom part of the course. So she might be behind EILIDH GIBSON, who had a quite smooth bottom. But probably in for the second position.
As you expect. There's another 2-second penalty.
Oh no, she got another touch, so might be complicated for her to reach the podium.
Out of the medals now, but she could get an honourable position. In the small screen, you do see a very excited young lady because she's just guaranteed herself in a medal. EILIDH GIBSON from the UK, well, Scotland, same thing, 18 years old.
Same thing, not for everyone. Go and tell the Scottish, they won't be too happy about that.
The beauty of live commentating. Second Chinese competitor, and she's got a pedigree. NANQIN Chen, 30 years old. In the 2011 Worlds in Bratislava, she took the silver medal. 2012 in the World Cup, she came 8th in Po and 4th in Let's Say, and in the 2013 World Prague, she came 25th in the C1 and 36th in the K1, so very adaptable.
And she looks really good so far. The boat is sliding and has a good bottom section.
Almost comes in too tight on that upstream. Deals with it well. Needs to get the boat moving again through this section in the middle, getting set up for that tough bottom section.
Just one penalty so far, and she looked quite fast on that crossing in the hole, which is a tricky move for everyone there.
But still in touch, only 1.12 seconds down. There is time to be made up. This could be really close.
And she's probably faster because she picked up a 2-second penalty and she's just 1 second lower.
Oh, that's not going to help things.
And that's very unlucky because unfortunately she missed the gates there.
As you're talking about before, the end section is when you're tired and it's relentlessly hard.
She might have been a little too tired and losing kind of tracks where she was and balance.
Okay. Wiping a bit of water out the air. Anyway, we do have a Brit 18-year-old on the, at least with a silver medal. And sorry, we do have a Brit with a gold medal.
Absolutely, great for the home
definitely.
crowd.
No need to add words to that.
I think that the common point of the British C1 women is whenever they do well, they look very happy on the camera. We can remember Kim Woods shouting and jumping everywhere after Cardiff World Cup, so it might happen again.
Well, unfortunately,
it will happen
unfortunately for us on the TV, she actually did the commentating with us the next day and she was still speechless. But anyway, Mallory Franklin, still only 19 years old, 2013 the Worlds, took the silver medal. Said she was disappointed with her run there. And is pretty much always on the podium, and she's up 1.52 seconds up so far.
She's doing it by being very conservative with her energy. beautiful cross there.
Brother Zachary is going to be going a little bit later in the C2s. But the local announcers are fairly excited because we do have the same sort of mental set as in the Olympics in the C2s. Who guaranteed themselves a British 1-2.
I think they're also excited because this run is actually the best we've seen so far. Really using the whitewater to her advantage, not wasting a lot of energy anywhere, staying clean.
Yeah, she doesn't have any mistakes so far, so it will all depend on the tricky bottom part.
Well, 4.55 seconds up, so 19-year-old Mallory Franklin, it's hers to lose.
She's pulling out a really good run so far.
This is the critical cross. We saw the Chinese boats flip here, able to hold her boat well.
Well, it's a home course, so she knows the water as well as anyone else. Just has to hold it together. Reference time is 1:32. Mallory in the semi-final did 1:22, so she's certainly got it in her.
Yeah, she's going to smash it, I think. Just got to keep the boat moving here. It's just a sprint to the finish now.
And a convincing win in the end. 9.8 seconds for Mallory Franklin. Great Britain 1, Great Britain 2, China 3.
I think we will have to watch her for the rest of the season because she's been pulling 2 really solid runs with the exact same time in both semi-final and final runs.
Difficult to back up that first run in the semi-final when you're at the top spot, as we talked about with Janos Peterlin from Slovenia in the K1 final. To be able to lay down the same time run after run, it's going to be tough to beat as we move on in the season.
She said, speaking to her a couple of days ago, she said her main inspiration of the sport growing up was Helen Reeves with her bronze medal performance in Athens. She said she very much does most of things by herself, but a great performance. Confirmation of the results. Officially, Great Britain gold medal Mallory Franklin, silver medal with EILIDH GIBSON, and China take the third medal with Miss Teng. Jessica Fox this time missing out, taking 4th place.
Yeah, it must be quite a big of a disappointment for Jess because I think that last year she won every single World Cup in the C1 apart from Cardiff where she was 2nd.
Shows the development of the class, I think, as the other women are starting to get up to that level again.
Look out the window here in the commentary box, we can see some of the men's C1 getting ready to throw it down in this final, which is going to kick off at 1:31, which is only a few minutes away.